Radloff, aka Stampin' Blondie, and I'm excited to be here with you for another week of live step-by-step crafting. Now I hope you all had an amazing weekend. I'm just making sure that I am live here on Facebook. I'm also live over on YouTube. So if you're watching, make sure to comment, say hi, let me know where you are joining me from. So let's go ahead and check this out here. Hello, Barb in Tucson. She's watching over on YouTube. So I hope you are having a wonderful afternoon there. Let's make sure I'm live here on Facebook as well. Let's see. It says I'm connected. There we go. I am live over on Facebook too. So I hope you all had a great weekend. My husband and I had a little bit of unfortunate news here in the Radloff house. If you follow along with me, you'll know that my husband and I adopt senior dachshunds. And unfortunately yesterday, we had to help one of those dachshunds cross the Rainbow Bridge. She was diagnosed with kidney disease last week, and yesterday her health rapidly declined, so we had to make that decision to help her. Unfortunately, it was very sad. It is very sad. We miss her very much, but we still have two other dachshunds that we have to give love to. So if you are the praying type, just say a little prayer for Bailey. She was definitely one of our cuddly little dachshunds, and such a sweet little girl, and we will miss her very much. So moving on, today we are going to create 3 projects featuring the Seaside Wishes bundle. Thank you everybody for the kind wishes. Yes, Bailey was the best. She was such a sweet girl. She had such a unique coat on as well. If you've ever heard of a brindle coat, that's what she was. So very, very cute, and we will definitely miss her as well. So today I'm creating 3 projects featuring the Seaside Wishes bundle. Now this is a unique bundle from the annual catalog, as it not only includes a stamp set and dies, but it also includes a hybrid embossing folder. So I'll show you what that means when we get to that point, but let's go ahead and swap the camera. I have a few quick announcements and then we'll jump right into our projects today. All right, first off, don't forget, through the end of this month, select designer series papers from the annual catalog are on sale 15% off. You can find out which designer series papers are on sale. There's a link in the description of this video that will take you directly to the page on Stampin' Up! With all of the designer series papers that are on sale. Now, I have not checked out the link today to see what is available, but there are some great designer series papers to coordinate with items from our annual catalog, and we have our upcoming mini catalog as well, so you can kind of mix and match with those designer series papers. So through the end of this month, we have, today is the 19th, so about a little less than 2 weeks left to go for this designer series paper sale. So don't forget, if you are interested in that, to place an order. Like I said, the link is in the description of this video, and you can see all of the designer series papers that are on sale. Now, speaking of the mini catalog, oh, let me turn it the right way. Here is the upcoming September through December mini catalog. So I can't show you the inside of it just yet, but I can show you the outside. And I've already placed and received my pre-order from this upcoming catalog to be able to plan my classes through the end of the year. So I'm really excited about this. I love holiday crafting. Now, this is not just Christmas, so there's some fall stamp sets in here, various types of Christmas holiday stamp sets. There's everything from your traditional to non-traditional holiday stamp sets. So I'm really looking forward to being able to craft with these items in here. Now, if you are not currently working with a demonstrator and you have not placed an order with me in the last 6 months, there is a link in the description of this video right now that you can go to and fill out a form for your free holiday mini catalog. Now these will be shipping out next week, so make sure to get on that list. Like I said, if you've attended an event or a class of mine in the past 6 months, you don't have to fill that out because you're already on my list, and if you've placed an order with me as well. But if you are not working with another demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator, and you can fill out that form and I will send you a catalog. Now it will also have my upcoming class schedule in it as well through the end of the year. So if you're wanting to know what upcoming classes I will be hosting, that will be included in the mailing as well. So September through December mini catalog. I can't show you the inside just yet. This starts on, I think it's September 4th. Yes, September 4th is when this starts, and it is 67 pages long of really fun, brand new upcoming crafting supplies. So I'm really excited to showcase these projects through the end of the year. Like I said, every year I do something called a holiday card club. So starting in September, I'll be doing September, October, November. We'll be doing holiday cards. So by the time December comes around, you'll have a whole stack of cards ready to mail out to your loved ones. Normally I start this in August, so you have one more month, but because of my cross-country move and I wasn't fully unpacked yet, I'm going to be shifting it September, October, November. We're not going to be doing it in December because by the time all the supplies would get to you and you would make your projects, the holidays would practically be over. So just those 3 months, but you'll have plenty of cards to be able to send out for the holiday season. All right, so let's go ahead. Oh, I forgot last week because it had taken so long for me to get in. Now, don't forget Prize Patrol. So all you have to do is share this video and comment that you shared, and you'll be entered into this week's Prize Patrol. Now, because I didn't do Prize Patrol last week, it completely slipped my mind with getting back into the swing of things. We are going to have a twofer Prize Patrol this week. So the winner for this week's Prize Patrol will receive a package of the 6x6 Country Gingham Designer Series paper. So this paper comes in 2 different designs and 4 different colors. And then also the Into the Clouds embossing folder. So all you have to do is share this video. Make sure to comment that you shared, because sometimes Facebook security settings don't always allow me to know who has shared exactly. It just says a number. So make sure to comment that you shared, and I will enter you into this week's Prize Patrol. So it's a 2 for this week just because we forgot to do the project or the Prize Patrol last week. So I am so excited to be able to offer a 2 for this week. Kathy said this will be my first year to do my holiday cards. I love holiday cards. They're so much fun, and I'm excited to have you join. So details on that will be coming out soon. Like I said, I just got my pre-order box, and in there is September's project supplies. So I'll be able, excuse me, I'll be making those projects later this week and then posting the details about that class. All right. So today, like I said, I'm featuring the Seaside Wishes bundle. Now, I chose this bundle because I just moved to the seaside, and of course I had to create projects featuring this really fun bundle. Now, this is found on page 73 of the annual catalog. The Seaside Wishes bundle, it does not have any coordinating designer series paper or embellishments to go with it, so I had really fun pulling from my supplies to be able to create these projects to coordinate with this bundle. Thank you, Kathy. It just snuck right up on me. So this bundle, like I mentioned, not only comes with a stamp set, so here's the stamp set. It is a set of 12 photopolymer stamps, so you can see exactly where you're stamping. They're completely see-through and clear. I love this stamp set because not only does it have images, but it also has sentiments to go along with it. And I love a kind of all-in-one stamp set where I don't have to pull out multiple sets to be able to complete the projects that I like. So Seaside Wishes is the stamp set. There are coordinating dies. So these dies cut out. So here, the big sand dollar and the smaller one, there are dies to cut this out, as well as the starfish. And then these two, I'm gonna show a project using this die here. And then these are kind of seaweed little dies that you can use as well. So here is the die set. Now this bundle also comes with an embossing folder. Let me move this out of the way so you can kind of see this embossing folder. It has 3 sand dollars on it and then kind of some like pebbles, bubbles around the outside. Now I mentioned earlier that this is a hybrid embossing folder. So what exactly is a hybrid embossing folder? This embossing folder is unique because this large die here nestles right into, let me get it the right way, right into the embossing folder. So you can see it fits right in there. And you can run this through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and die cut and emboss all on one pass. So I'm going to show you how to do that, but this is what a hybrid embossing folder is. It means a die can fit snug in here and run it through, and it'll be able to die cut and emboss at the same exact time. So if you have shoulder issues, this is great because you don't have to hand crank the die machine as many times. And it's great because then you're left over with all these little pieces that you may not use on your first project, and then you can use these on additional projects as well. So let's go ahead and I'll show you the projects that we're going to work on today. Now here is the first project. I showed this project on my website and Facebook yesterday. I'm not going to show how to create this one because this one took a little bit of time. This one has watercoloring on it. So it has some Pool Party, Coastal Cabana, and Summer Splash re-inkers that I used to watercolor the Fluid 100 watercolor paper. I ran it through the embossing machine, so you can see that embossing folder there, and then added a sand dollar here and some white ribbon. So this was on the website yesterday. And then the 3 projects that we're going to create today, here is this one. It has the use of the embossing folder just by itself, but then also we're going to do some die cutting with the hybrid embossing folder. So the folder can be used by itself as just a regular embossing folder, or you can add that die in and turn it into a hybrid. So can be used still as a regular embossing folder as well. So here is a very simple stamping card. Not a lot going on, but very pretty. That is that die there that I had mentioned earlier. Now I am not going to die cut this on camera because I have to poke out all those little pieces. So for that, I've pre-die cut that little piece for you. So there's that one. And then this one is my favorite that we're going to create here. And this one uses Pool Party and Crumb Cake. And then we're going to do some blending on the sand dollars just to kind of give it that sandy look. Now all 3 of these projects are offered as a class kit to go. So this is what you receive in your class kit. For any orders on my website of $35 or more prior to shipping and tax, I send you the free project kit. Now there's no stamping in this, so you can add the bundle to your kit, or you can choose any supplies that you want to order. And I will send you the project pieces to create this week's class kit. So this is everything it includes. Like I said, no stamped images are included. Now don't forget, each week on my website, stampinblondie.com, I offer a project PDF tutorial. It has all of the item names, item numbers, prices of the 3 projects that I create today. So it has a backside as well, so you can see all the supplies that I used. And if you want to get this week's class kit to go, you can choose from those supplies, or like I said, anything else. Hello, Lori. She is a first-time watcher. Where are you watching from, Lori? It's always fun to see where everybody is joining each week. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We are going to work on this project first. Let me get it in shot so you can see. So these 3 projects today are featuring the Country Woods Designer Series paper. Again, not your traditional, you wouldn't think of the sea and the ocean when you see this designer series paper, but paired together with the sand dollar and the embossing folder, it's really a great designer series paper here. So we have a piece of a basic beige cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Wisconsin, hello, and we have Missouri as well. We're at Missouri. I used to live in Missouri. And Minnesota. I used to live in Iowa, so we've got a lot of different people watching tonight from all over. I saw Connecticut up there earlier. So yeah, different locations. So basic beige cardstock, and we're going to put this off to the side because we are going to emboss our piece of basic white cardstock. So let's get our embossing folder out. Like I said, this can be used just as a regular piece of, or a regular embossing folder. And we're gonna use that black line that's on the bottom here to line up our cardstock, make sure it's straight. And we're gonna bring in our Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. Now, this embossing folder is your normal size embossing folder, so we are gonna have to use the large machine here. So we'll get that out, and we're gonna get our plates in the right order. We've got number 1, our embossing folder, and we're gonna run that through the machine. Try not to shake and shimmy the camera too much here. All right, now while we have this out, so here's our embossed piece, just a regular embossing folder. Like I said, it's got those kind of bubbles or rocks around the edge here. We are also going to die cut this one. So I just have a small scrap piece of basic white, and we're going to put our die in here. Now, when you use the die, you want to make sure that you put it in the right way first, like I do. But you have the edge of the die, the cutting edge is going to go towards the inside of the folder, and it kind of just nestles in there. You can tell when it clicks in. And like I said, I just have a scrap piece of basic white, and I don't need to cut everything. I just need it to cut this large sand dollar here. Now, when you use the hybrid with the die and the folder, it's still the same sandwich as if you were to run an embossing folder through. So your plate number 1, your folder with the hinge first, and then your gray plate on top, just like you were going to emboss. So there's no plate sandwich change. It's just like embossing. And I'm gonna move this off to the side just to get it out of the way here. So it cuts and embosses all at the same time. So here is our large sand dollar. You can see there, it's embossed. And if I had used a full piece, you could still use those for a project, but I just used a spare piece of paper, so it cut it in half. And we're gonna move that off to the side. We're gonna do some stamping here. So I have these little bits of color on the stamp set. It has this little splotch stamp, and we're gonna use that just to kind of color in a little bit on the back of the paper, just so it's not stark white. So we are gonna be using crumb cake for this. Now I chose crumb cake over basic beige because even though our cardstock in the back is basic beige, I wanted to use crumb cake just to make it stand out a little bit more. And this is just kind of getting stamped all around. There's no certain way to stamp this, just a little here and a little bit there. Hello, Kathy, Diane, thank you for the hugs. Yes, yesterday was very tough, but I mean, it's really sad. I feel very sad that we lost Bailey, but she was very sick. So I felt like we have gotten, like, the decision was the best decision we could have made for her. So it's weird. I feel sad, but I'm not, like, sobbing sad. It's very strange. I hope you guys understand what I'm talking about and that I really do miss her, but it's like not that I'm sobbing all day long. Miss her. Okay, so I glued down my embossed piece, and we have a piece of that Country Woods Designer Series paper. There's the back side there. I chose this side because it has more of that pink tone to it, and that's what we are going to stamp our little starfish in here. So we're gonna add that to the left side of our card here. And I'm just gonna put a block down to kind of hold it because that is embossed. I just want that to kind of stick to my paper a little bit better. So I'm adding some blocks there. Okay, we have our large sand dollar, but now we need to make the small one. Again, spare piece of cardstock, and we're gonna stamp this one in basic beige. So the small sand dollar in basic beige. I chose basic beige for this part over crumb cake because the crumb cake is a little too dark for this part. I just wanted it to be a little lighter on the color. Now our sentiment is gonna be in Lost Lagoon, and it says, sometimes the simplest things mean the most. And that's just gonna get stamped right on top of our sand dollar here. There we go. And then these, you can see that there's two different colors for the basic beige. It definitely lightens up after it dries. So if it looks really dark, when you stamp it, it'll definitely lighten up as the sentiment dries. All right, we are not going to emboss this piece. We're just going to die cut it. So we can get this out of the way. We're just going to use the die by itself without any embossing folder. So you can use it by itself, use it with the folder, same thing with the folder. Use it by itself or use it with the die. It's kind of mix and match. Now, I am going to make sure that this is getting die cut the right way. So there isn't really a, you kind of just have to twist it until you figure out which is the right way. So I want to make sure there we go. That's the right way. So there's these little notches in the sand dollar and then little notches in the die where it dips in, and that's how you know where it fits together. So I'm just going to take a piece of washi tape to hold it down in place while we run this through our machine. Now this, we do need our cutting plates. So lots of moving around here with our plates. I hope that stays. And then bringing back in the honking machine. So we're gonna put our die on our platform and then run it through. So we don't want it to be embossed. If we had put this through the machine with it being embossed, the sentiment would get skewed. So I wanted sorry, that's heavy. I wanted the sentiment to not be skewed or anything, so we're just die cutting out the sand dollar. And with this same piece here, we're gonna stamp our little starfish, and this is in Petal Pink to kind of tie in that designer series paper here, and we're going to die cut that as well. So there's our sand dollar, and then the die. Let me grab the dies. Again, just like the sand dollars, you kind of have to play with this to make sure. Oh, I got it the very first time. That has like never happened. So you will want to kind of rotate your die until it fits the starfish stamp in the right way, or you can get lucky like I did and it lays the right way the first time. Like I said, that never happens. All right, again, bring in the big machine. Get a good arm workout. So not only is this crafting, it's exercising as well. So we've got our cutting platform, and then we're just gonna run this through to die cut this. So I would say this bundle is more, definitely not for your beginner stampers. If you are more of a intermediate crafter or an advanced crafter, this is a great stamp. But this is definitely not for your beginner crafters. Magic Mat, where can we get one? I wish Stampin' Up! Sold them. I'm not going to mention the company online, but if you Google Magic Mat, you will find it online. I love it. It doesn't, it helps me keep my plates a lot longer. Okay, we've got our card here. We're going to add a strip of basic beige ribbon. So this is our more, this is our most advanced card for the night. So we started with this one just to kind of get it out of the way. But we're going to take our basic beige ribbon and just kind of cut the edges at an angle because this ribbon does fray. This is the basic beige 3/8 bordered ribbon, and it also comes in all of the brand new in colors as well. So there's 5 different colors and then basic beige as well. We're gonna add a little bit of liquid glue to the back of this. And when I say a little bit, you don't want much at all because this ribbon is cotton and it can ooze through the ribbon. So I'm just adding light strokes because I just want it to barely have enough adhesive to stick on. And then this is gonna go across the front of our card here. And like I said, just the lightest amount of adhesive, and we're gonna add a block to kind of hold that on there as well. Have I mailed the mini catalogs yet? Not yet. So you are on my list, Kathy, so don't worry, you'll be getting one. They have not mailed just yet, but yes, you are on my list. All right, I'm just taking my clear block to help stick that down because there may be a little bit of glue on my fingers, and if I touch that too much, it's gonna pull off the ribbon. So we've got our big sand dollar. We're gonna add this on with Stampin' Dimensionals. This is gonna go across the front of that designer series paper. So right there. Our sentiment piece, because it's gonna hang off the edge of our previous sand dollar, we wanna add just a little bit of liquid glue on one side, and then the opposite side, we're gonna add our Stampin' Dimensional. This makes sure that the it's level. If I added a dimensional on this side, one side would be higher with 2 dimensionals high. So that's just gonna go right there. And then that side will stick. On the back of our starfish, a tiny dot of liquid glue, or you could use a mini glue dot if you wanted to. And then we're gonna come in and embellish with these flat pearls. I love these. These go great with that designer series paper and this sand dollar and the starfish. It's really fun because it's kind of like all under the sea. So we've got a small flat pearl right there, and then 2 more down here in the lower right corner. And there is our first project today featuring the Seaside Wishes bundle. So I'll kind of tilt it so you can see the embossing. It's kind of hard when it's full on there, but a very fun, really pretty project. Again, like I said, not for your basic stampers, more for your intermediate, advanced crafters, but a beautiful project for our first Seaside Wishes bundle project today. All right. Now this next project, I would say this is more for those beginner stampers. We still have to do some die cutting, so more intermediate. But this project uses Smoky Slate and a Misty Moonlight, 2 colors that you would not think of for really under the sea. So we have a Smoky Slate card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, your basic card design here. And a piece of Misty Moonlight cardstock. Like I said, when you think of these two colors, you don't really think of Under the Sea, but paired with that Country Woods Designer Series paper, some Petal Pink and Coastal Cabana, definitely brings it all together. So we've got our, this was giving me issues earlier today too. Let me grab the other one I have. It's like it's getting adhesive stuck in the winding and it's not wanting to unwind when I use it. So we have our Misty Moonlight cardstock and then a piece of basic white cardstock. So we're gonna add that right on top. And there we go. That's gonna go in the middle here. There we go. We're gonna stamp our sentiment first before we do any of the other layering. So our sentiment, "You absolutely made my day," is gonna be in Misty Moonlight to tie in that back cardstock that we have. And that's gonna go in the lower right corner of our piece of basic white. Okay. Now we're gonna add a strip of the Country Woods Designer Series paper. It's got, like I said, that really pretty petal pink, some Coastal Cabana. Here's the Misty Moonlight, and there is that smoky slate. So really pulling from your Designer Series paper colors helps put these projects together. And on the back of all of our Designer Series paper packs have the colors that are included in them, so you can know what cardstock and embellishments, ribbon, etc. to pull for your projects. So this is gonna go towards the bottom of our card and it's gonna line up against that piece of Misty Moonlight cardstock. So it'll go off the edge of the mat there and just line up with that right there. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I pre-die cut this piece from the Seaside Wishes, just because when you run it through the machine, you have all these little pieces here. So I had to poke them all out, or the ones that stuck in there. So I didn't want to take the time to do that during the video. So I just pre-die cut it for you guys to be able to see that. But before we do that, we're gonna do some of that splotching stamping right back here on our white cardstock, and that's gonna use Smoky Slate ink. I chose to add that little splotch. We're just gonna clean off our stamp here. I chose to add that splotch because it was just so white in the background. It needed a little something to kind of not be so stark white. And again, just like the last one, we're going to take our Smoky Slate and we're just going to do some random stamping, and I'm just going to stamp it 3 times. Here we go. And off to the side for that. Our, this little, I don't even know what this is. It's not a sandal or coral, I guess. I don't really know what this is. But we're gonna take your liquid glue, and right in the middle, we're gonna add some liquid glue. But then around it, where there's just larger pieces of cardstock, where you can just add the teeniest bit of glue. Just kind of dab it on there. You definitely don't want to be heavy-handed with this at all, because the glue will ooze out the side of it. I'm just doing little dabs to kind of get it to be able to stick to the cardstock. That's the ultimate goal. You want it to stay on there, but you don't want to add a ton of glue. So again, a clear block to just kind of hold that down in place. Now, while that is going, we're gonna do the Petal Pink sand dollar here, and this one is going to be die cut and embossed. So we're going to show you that part now. So the last one we just die cut. This one I'm going to show you how to do it when you have the die cutting and embossing. I have a piece of hair on my neck and it's bothering me. It's there somewhere. Okay, so we've got our Petal Pink ink, and the first thing we're gonna do is we're just going to stamp our sand dollar spare piece of basic white cardstock, and we're going to take our embossing folder, with our hybrid die in it. So we've got our large die with our hybrid die, and I need to trim this down a little bit. What we're going to do is just cut our paper just so it's a little easier to manage in the die. I don't need all this space here. Okay, I'm going to flip it over, and again, like I mentioned earlier, the stamp, you can see, has these little notches in the sand dollar. So we're going to line that up in the die here so that it fits right with our die. There we go. And I don't need to add any washi tape because I'm just going to close the folder. Hopefully keep this in place. Let me make sure I'm still lined up. Yep, close the folder. And now we're going to run this through the machine, and it's going to die cut and emboss for us all at once. So grab the machine, and we're going to use the embossing plates. So our plate number 1 on the bottom, our embossing folder hinge first. You always put your embossing folders hinge first through the machine. And then your gray plate on top, and we're gonna run that through. Now you will hear, normally when you die cut, you hear kind of crunching and cracking noises. That's because it's die cutting the paper. You don't normally hear that with embossing, but because we are doing both at the same time, there you go. So there is our embossed and die cut sand dollar with the ink already on it. Again, if I had a full sheet, I could have embossed and die cut all 3 of these, but we just need the 1. Now we're also going to do the little sand dollar, or the starfish. So let's get this out of the way here. Our spare piece of paper. Let me clean off the stamp here. We're gonna stamp that in basic beige. I haven't really used basic beige. That is a brand new color this year, so we always have 5 new in colors, but Stampin' Up! Surprised us this year with a 6th color, and this is not an in color. It's just one of our new core colors that we have. It's in the same family as your white, your black, and then we have basic beige. So we have basic white, basic black, basic beige, basic gray as well. And it's gonna stick around. So I'm excited for that. It's not as dark as crumb cake. And like I said, it lightens up a lot once you let it dry a little bit. So machine back in. Again, lots of die cutting today, but I think it's worth it. These projects are really pretty. And once you do your die cutting, it's not that bad. So we're gonna line up our little piece of starfish. Let me make sure this is how I want it lined up. Yep, I didn't think I was gonna get it twice in a row. So you just have to kind of turn the die until you get it lined up right. And then again, a little piece of washi tape to hold that in place to die cut. Okay, there we go. And there's our little, come on, stuck. There's our little starfish. So cute. Okay, we're going to add everything to our card now. So actually this card does not have any dimensionals on it. So we're just going to glue everything down. So we have our starfish, or our sand dollar. I want to add liquid glue to it because it's embossed. So the liquid glue will really help everything stick to the card a little bit better. The back of our starfish, we're going to add a little drop of liquid glue. Again, you could use a mini glue dot if you wanted to. That'll go right here in the corner. And then we're gonna add our flat pearls to this one. So we're gonna add 2 of the small flat pearls. These are a carryover from one of our previous catalogs. I'm glad they did, because these pearls, you can color them with Stampin' Blends to change their color as well. And here's our second card today featuring the Seaside Wishes bundle from the annual catalog. Hello, Sarah. Thanks for watching. Peggy asks, is the water there swimming temperatures? I always think in Northeast is pretty cold. So I haven't been to the beach just yet, and there's a reason why. So I'm not sure if everybody knows Rhode Island, very teeny tiny. It's very teeny tiny state, but the island is a huge tourist destination in the summer. Think of Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard type of tourist. So they all go to the beach. Well, September after Labor Day is when the tourist season dies down. So I am waiting for the tourist season to die down to be able to go to the beach. The water here, yes, it's warm enough to swim in, but it is very people-y right now. Plus you have to pay to park there, and if you don't get there in time, it fills up. So I'm just waiting for it to kind of, plus it's been very hot here, but now the temperatures are starting to cool off a little bit, so I'm excited about that as well. And all of the people saying, well, you came from Arizona, it's a lot different here. It's very humid because you are right on the water. So while I would take 110 in Arizona any day because it's dry heat, no humidity, over 85 degrees here with humidity. Definitely any day for Arizona. All right, here is my last project I'm going to show you guys here today. This features Pool Party and Crumb Cake and this really pretty designer series paper. This is from the Country Woods as well, designer series paper. Here's the back side of it. This is very pretty. This is my favorite paper from that set. So we are going to take that splotchy stamp again, and we're going to kind of do a little bit around the outside here. We're going to do this in Crumb Cake, so tone on tone stamping. Let me just clean off my stamp here. Yes, fall is the best part here is what I hear. Funny story. I don't know what kind of tree we have in our front yard. It's not like a maple tree, but I took a picture yesterday because a part of the tree is already changing colors. And I said, no, 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 that is way too soon here, because once fall is here, that means winter is coming and I am not ready for winter. I don't have the clothes for winter. I don't have the vehicles for winter. I'm just gonna stay at home and craft as long as I can and never go outside in the winter. Now, they don't get very bad winters here because it is on the water. We are a little island off of the mainland. But, I mean, it still gets cold. It still snows. So I'm just going to stay inside in the winter. All right, I took that splotchy stamp and I just did a few random stamps around the outside. There's no need to stamp the middle because it's going to be covered with paper. No need to waste the time when it's going to be covered already. We're going to take our piece of Country Woods Designer Series paper and we're going to add that to our Pool Party cardstock. And that's going to go right in the middle here. And we're going to add this on with dimensionals. This card is definitely the best card for maybe those that are, I will say, advanced beginners. Maybe those that have not stamped just their first time, but because you will have to do some die cutting. So die cutting is not a beginner kind of technique, but if you've crafted before and you've used a die cut machine, we're going to put it this way. This is a good card for beginner as well. So we added that to the front, and we're going to stamp our sentiment just like that first or second card we made, the last one. You absolutely made my day, and we're going to stamp that in Tuxedo Black ink. I chose Tuxedo Black because Crumb Cake was not really what I wanted, and Pool Party on Pool Party cardstock is just a little too light. So I wanted that sentiment to really stand out from the rest of the card. So Tuxedo Black ink, and that's going to go right in the middle here of our, let's get some more ink on there, right in the middle of our Pool Party little sentiment piece there. Okay, now we're going to die cut and emboss. So we're going to use the hybrid and folder, and we're going to cut a piece of white cardstock. Now this is just a basic white scrap paper, so you don't have to have a specific size for this, but we're gonna do all three at the same time. So just our basic white here, and then you can see it's gonna do all three. I'm gonna move this one down just to make sure we get that bottom sand dollar. There we go. Ugh. And our machine. Yes, layers, sweaters, scarves, and gloves. So I have a hat, I have gloves from when we did the incentive trip to Norway last year. I have a hat, I have gloves, I have all that, but I don't have like, not long johns, but like, I guess, yeah, long, I don't think I need long johns. I don't know. I have cozy PJ pants that I'm just gonna wear all inside and never go outside in the winter time. But we're only here for a year, so I know that I'm gonna have to go outside sometime to be able to do something, but I'll come to that point when I have to be forced outside in the winter. Okay, so we have our 3 sand dollars here. And I'm just gonna take my grid paper and we're going to just do some light brushing of color on these. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my crumb cake ink pad and a blending brush. And let me bring this up higher so you can see what I'm doing. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my blending brush and my ink and then just kind of swirl it on the embossed side. This kind of gives it that sandy look, like if you were at the beach and you found one. You don't want to go too dark with the color, so I'm just swirling around. I'm swirling the brush in my ink pad and tapping it off the side, just because I don't want it to be too heavy on the ink right in the middle. Okay, tap it. And the best part about these blending brushes is that you can build the color on. So if it's not as dark as you want it the first time, you can just add more and more color with the blending brush. But that looks good there. So we have our 3 sand dollars. And now we're gonna add them to the card. So the first one is gonna go in the back as the large one. And that's gonna go there. Is it Muck Luck is a good brand off of QVC to keep you warm. I love their lounge pants and shirts. I'll definitely have to keep that in mind. I don't want to buy like a whole new wardrobe in case like we go somewhere not so cold next, and then like I'm stuck with, like we moved to Tucson with a snow shovel. Like who has a snow shovel in Tucson? But like I don't want to have to buy a whole new wardrobe just to possibly move somewhere next that I may not need it. So, but you never know. We could get like Alaska next, and then I'd be like, shoot, I should have brought those. So we've got our 3 little sand dollars down here, and now we're gonna add our sentiment, and that's gonna go right at the bottom. The funny thing about Alaska, because we just drove here from Arizona, so that was like a week-long trip. I told my husband if we get Alaska next, we're flying and we're shipping our cars there. I'm not doing that car ride again. So I added the sentiment down there at the bottom, and now we're gonna come in with our flat pearls. I'm gonna take one of the large ones. We haven't used the large ones yet. Put that there. And then 2 smaller ones. Oh, kind of flew off there. I'm gonna add one there, add one here, and there is our last card today, featuring the sweetest Seaside Wishes bundle from the annual catalog. This is definitely my favorite card this week. I hope you guys like this one too. Very simple, and the sanding on there looks like it's real from straight off the beach. So I hope you guys like that one as well. Let me bring in all 3 projects here that we made today, and you can let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. We've got the Sandy Sand Dollars, our Misty Moonlight and Smoky Slate, and then our Petal Pink card down here, our first project that we made. So let me know which one is your favorite here today. I hope you guys like all of them, but definitely the Pool Party and Crumb Cake is my favorite this week. All right, well, thank you everybody for joining me for another week of Makers Monday. Don't forget, if you aren't currently working with a demonstrator and you would like a copy of the brand new upcoming mini catalog and you haven't placed an order or attended an event in mine in the last 6 months, there is a link in the description of the video right now that you can go fill out the form and request a free catalog. They will be shipping later next week or beginning of next week, so make sure to get on that list if you are wanting a copy. I look forward to seeing everybody next week, and I hope you have an